Bubble Busters!
My name is Alan. I work in the sales department of a company that manufactures artificial cells for research purposes. Alan, how many times do I have to tell you? What don't you understand? Look at these graphs. They give you the full picture of what is going on. Which part about this don't you get? This isn't even difficult, and I've explained it to you before. Yes, sorry about that, Aaron. Aaron is my manager at work. He's really bad at explaining things, and I don't think it's my fault that I can't understand what he's saying. But if I ask him to explain something more clearly to me, he gets angry and tells me that I'm stupid. And if I do something wrong, he criticizes me and tells me that I should have asked him more questions. I wanted to say that I was happily married to my wife Sarah, but in reality...
Alan, stop lazing around and help me get dinner on the table.
Even if I was tired from work or wasn't feeling well, instead of comforting me, Sarah would tell me to get up and help her around the house. I think that I might have caught a cold. I'm not feeling well. My doctor told me to rest and take it easy. Could you please heat up some soup for me? I'll have that for dinner and take my medication after that.
We don't have any soup in this house, Alan.
Oh, Sarah was pretty cold to me, but on rare occasions, she would be very sweet to me. She had a weird way of showing it, but I'm sure that she loved me. Well, that's what I told myself anyway, but a year later, I found out that Sarah didn't love me at all.
Alan, I want a divorce.
What?
I'm not happy in this marriage.
I had no idea that you were unhappy. This is totally unexpected. I thought that you'd give me a heads up before coming to me to talk about divorce.
Actually, I'm in love with someone else, so...
What? Who? When?
Will you go ahead and sign the divorce papers? Make it quick.
Can't you give me a minute to process all this? You sprung this on me out of nowhere.
Why are you so surprised?
I didn't see this coming.
Well, it's not my fault that I found new love, and I want to get married to my boyfriend right away.
So you were dating someone behind my back?
It's not a big deal. You can't ask me to pay alimony, all right? Will you be a dear and sign these divorce papers? I want to go public with my new relationship as soon as possible.
How can you say that to me? Don't you care about my feelings at all? And you're basically telling me that you don't have any feelings left for me, right?
Why are you so surprised? Couldn't you tell from my behavior? I wouldn't act like that in front of someone that I loved. I didn't think you were so dense.
I did think that you were pretty cold to me, but that's how you were from the time that we met. There were some rare occasions when you were very sweet to me. I thought that was your way of showing that you loved me.
I was only being sweet to you when I wanted something from you. That's not love. I was just using you.
I'm such a loser.
Yes, you are.
Okay, I've heard enough. I don't want to stay in this loveless marriage either.
Then let's get a divorce, amicably.
Whatever. I don't care anymore. I went to look for evidence that Sarah had been cheating on me during our marriage, but I couldn't find anything incriminating. In the end, Sarah got what she wanted. A clean divorce without her having to pay me any alimony. My marriage ended just like that, as if it hadn't even happened in the first place. I've never been happier to be so busy with work. I'm going to take these documents to the research department. After I got divorced from Sarah, I put myself into work so I didn't have time to feel sorry for myself. I brought over the documents that you asked for.
Thanks, Alan. That was fast.
This is Helen, and she's one of the researchers working for our company. We were the same age, so although we worked in different departments, we got along well. I'm glad that I could get these to you today. I'm going to take the samples and the data that you created based on the test results.
Haven't you been working yourself too hard these days? You're always at the office.
Well, I just love working so much, and it prevents me from thinking about things that I don't really want to think about right now.
I see. You need to do something aside from work, too.
You have a point, but I think that work is the only thing keeping me sane at the moment.
I suppose that makes sense.
I'm like a fish that needs to continue swimming without ever stopping.
Do you want to go grab some sushi for dinner tonight?
Sushi sounds great.
Eating some delicious sushi might make you feel more positive.
All right then, I'm in.
Okay, let's go.
Helen understood the pain that I was feeling and would ask me out from time to time to make sure that I was okay. Before I knew it, she was an important part of my new life. 2 years after I got divorced from Sarah, Helen and I started dating, and another year passed. Helen, you've been great to me. Because of you, I learned to be happy again. Now it's my turn to make you happy.
You don't need to try to be so cool.
I began my new life as Helen's husband. I'm so much happier in my second marriage. I was so happy that it scared me sometimes. But then, something unexpected happened. Alan, can you come over here for a minute? Yes? What is it, Aaron? There's something that I need to tell you. Okay, I'm listening. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that I'm getting married to your ex-wife soon. What? How did that happen? I wonder what happened to Sarah's boyfriend, the one that she left me for. Why did she have to choose to go out with my manager? I'm sorry for startling you like this. Once we get married, I'm going to be living under the same roof as your son. Since I'm going to be the one to raise him, I'm going to need you to support me in paying his living expenses. What are you talking about? I don't have a son. Well, Sarah gave birth to a boy a few years ago, and he can't be mine, so you need to pay me child support. You were the only one that she was married to, so the child must be yours. It just doesn't make sense to me, though. I never had a child with Sarah. She wasn't even pregnant when we got divorced. This is not my problem. You need to sort this out with Sarah. I believe Sarah's word's over yours, though. Either way, there's a child that needs to be taken care of. Pay me $2,000 a month. No way! $2,000 is a lot of money. I can't afford to pay that. Well, you're forcing me to take care of a child that isn't mine. That's the least you could do for me. I'm telling you that this child isn't mine either. You're only saying this because you don't want to pay me the money. You're a shitty father. If you're not going to pay me the money, I have another plan. What kind of a plan? Everyone, listen up. Alan is refusing to pay his ex-wife child support payments even though he had a child with her. What do you all think about that? Aaron, stop! You don't need to do this. I don't want my colleagues to get the wrong idea about me.
What are you two doing?
Helen! Your husband is refusing to pay child support payments for the child that he had with his ex-wife. I'm letting everyone in the office know what a terrible and selfish person Alan is.
I see. From where I'm standing, it just looks like a boss is harassing a junior member in front of the other employees.
What's your problem, Helen?
I don't believe that Alan has a son with his ex-wife, Sarah. This is the first time that I'm hearing about this, and it all sounds very convenient timing-wise.
Okay, whatever. I'm done talking to the both of you. It was a complete waste of my time, really. Everyone, stop staring and get back to work. I hate you both! I wouldn't have been able to handle the situation with Aaron on my own, but luckily, Helen came and saved me. I was so grateful that she cared enough to come and help me when I was in trouble. The following day... Alan, where are you? Oh no, Aaron's calling me. This can't be good. I need to talk to you about what we discussed yesterday. Okay, sure. There's something that I want to show you. What is it? Take a look. How did Sarah do this? This can't be happening! Now you can't say no to paying the child support payments. This is the evidence which shows that you're the father of Sarah's child. Why am I listed as the child's father in this family registry? This is the family registry of Sarah and her son, and it clearly states that you're the child's father. Sarah must have falsified the documents! I don't think so. I was telling the truth this entire time. Do you believe me now? You have a son with your ex-wife. You pretended that you didn't have a son with Sarah because you didn't want to pay any child support. Aaron, stop! None of this is true! So you're still going to deny your son's existence then? I feel sorry for him.
Even if Alan divorced his ex-wife, he still has an obligation to take care of the child. Alan is being really irresponsible.
None of this is true! You have to believe me! You don't want to acknowledge the child because you don't want it to get in the way of your marriage to Helen. You're just being selfish. I'm doing you a favor by raising your child. Why is this happening to me? I didn't do anything bad here. This is all a big misunderstanding. But the family registry that Aaron brought to me made it very difficult to prove my point. At first, my colleagues had been on my side. But when they saw the family registry, they started to believe what Aaron was telling them. The only thing I could do was continue to do my work as usual and pretend that none of this happened. I didn't want to worry Helen, but I wasn't so lucky. One day, one of the senior managers called me into his office. May I ask what this is regarding? I'm sorry to call you like this. It's not a problem. The manager began to tell me why he had called me into his office, and it wasn't good news for me. It seemed that Aaron was suing me for not agreeing to pay child support. Why was I being sued for a child that I don't think is even mine? This was so unfair. I didn't want this to get to Helen and affect her negatively. This is a mistake. I never had a child with my ex-wife. I assure you of that. So you're saying that this family registry is a fake? I don't think that Aaron would be able to falsify a public record. I was trapped. As long as this family registry existed, no one was going to believe me. How did Aaron come up with this? It was all a big mystery to me. How would I fix this? Alan, I think you have no choice but to fight me in court. Or we can settle this amicably right here if you agree to pay those child support payments to me. It's obvious that you're the one that's lying here. I'm not cruel. I don't enjoy doing this to you, and I'd rather not go to court with this. I'm sure that you feel the same way. Taking this to court would be troublesome for you. It could put a strain on your marriage to Helen. I don't want this to affect Helen. That I'm sure of. Yes, you don't want to be the kind of guy that neglects his own child. Helen wouldn't want that either. Aaron had a point. If people said negative things behind my back over this issue with Aaron, it would reflect negatively on Helen, and I didn't want that for her. I understand the situation. I'll deal with it accordingly. Well, don't make me wait too long. I don't understand why you want to make everything so difficult for me. If you would just agree to pay child support, none of this would be happening. This is your fault. You're the one that's complicating the situation. But if you're not willing to listen to me, I'm going to make sure that you won't be able to continue working at this company. I got it, Aaron. You don't need to keep on putting pressure on me like this.
Alan!
Helen!
What's wrong? You look upset. Did Aaron say something to you again?
I'm sorry for not telling you sooner, Helen. I told her everything that was going on between Aaron and I.
I see. I'm not surprised, though, because I was hearing all sorts of rumors about the two of you.
But you have to believe me when I tell you that I never had a child with Sarah. It just doesn't make any sense.
I remember you telling me that you got the mumps just before you got divorced from Sarah.
Yes, I did.
I think I figured out how Sarah and Aaron came up with that registry.
Really?
There's only one truth out there, and I trust that you've told me it, so that means that Sarah and Aaron are the ones lying about this.
Thanks so much for being so understanding.
Let me tell you about the plan that I came up with.
Helen, you're a genius!
Aren't I? Now let's put our plan into effect.
I'm going to prove my innocence to everyone.
Troublebusters!
Thanks for coming to see me today. This is regarding the child support payments that you've been asking me for.
Hurry up and get to the point, Alan. Are you going to pay us or not?
Like I said before, if you don't want us to take this to court, I suggest that you agree to pay us child support. You're going to have to pay something either way. I'm not obligated to pay you anything. What the hell, Alan? I'm your boss at work. I think that you should listen to me. Sarah, how old is our son now?
He's 3 years old. Why do you ask? What's so funny? Your laugh is creeping me out.
If your son is 3 years old, he's definitely not mine.
What makes you so sure? We got divorced 3 years ago, which makes it possible that our son was conceived right around the time of our divorce. You just didn't realize that I was pregnant.
But that's not possible.
What do you mean? Explain yourself.
Alan, explain it to us instead of just telling us otherwise. It's because at the time, it wasn't possible for me to have kids. Huh? Why is that?
I don't get it.
I got the mumps 4 years ago, and at the same time, I got testicular inflammation. And because of it, I'm not fertile anymore. So if you insist that the child is mine, our son would need to be at least 4 years old, but he's not, so...
What?
I got a fertility test yesterday just in case. I can show you the results if you want. Yes, I'd like to see those results. I'll get it to you in a few days once it's available.
But you took the test yesterday, so it doesn't say anything about your condition around the time our son was born. Hey guys! I know I wasn't invited, but I came anyway to support my lovely husband.
Helen! What are you doing here?
Sorry to barge in on you like this, but since I'm married to Alan, I suppose that gives me the right to participate in this important meeting of yours. Oh, so you're Alan's new wife. I am. Nice to finally meet you, Sarah. I've heard so much about you from Alan.
What is it?
I took strands of hair from both Alan and Sarah and was able to determine the blood relationship with the child in question. How does this work?
Helen then showed us how her experiments worked. Once Helen poured a reagent into one of the test tubes, the liquid turned red from the original clear color. Wow, the liquid is now red!
Red means that there is a blood relationship between the parent and child. And when there's no blood relationship, the color of the liquid doesn't change, even if the reagent is added. I'm sure I can get a hair sample from Sarah that has the data from 3 years ago, since her hair is very long. If I can get a sample of her hair from 3 years ago, the data of the baby will be in the hair sample too, which means that I can test the blood relationship between Alan and the child using Sarah's old hair. I'm gonna take a piece of your hair, Sarah. Excuse me.
Helen then combined my hair sample with the hair sample she just took from Sarah. After that, she added the reagent to the test tube.
Color hasn't changed, which means there is no blood relationship between your child and Alan.
I knew it! You tried to trick me into paying you money! I bet the father of the child is the guy you cheated on me with when we were still married.
Well, I wanted to see if you'd fall for my lie. I mean, we were going to get divorced anyway. I wanted to see if you'd be stupid enough to pay the child support payments. According to the law, any child born within 300 days of a divorce is registered as the child of the ex-husband. That's why Alan's name was listed as the father of the child on the family registry.
I didn't know about this law until Helen told me about it, so when I first saw the family registry, I couldn't believe my eyes. What happened with your boyfriend in the end anyway? I thought that you guys had planned to get married.
He left me for another woman. I panicked because I found out that I was pregnant soon after we got divorced. I hoped that my boyfriend would come back to me if I told him that I was pregnant with his child, but he didn't seem to care at all. He told me that the baby wasn't his problem because we had already broken up.
Oh, so he dumped you. Sarah told her boyfriend at the time that he was the father of the baby because she hadn't slept with me in a long time. In the beginning, her ex-boyfriend agreed to pay her child support, but as Sarah's son grew older, her ex became suspicious about whether the child was really his because the boy looks nothing like him. That's when her ex stopped making the child support payments to Sarah. So that's why you came to me. How dare you! I'm so glad that we're divorced.
When I showed Aaron my family registry, he told me that I could ask you for child support since your name was listed as the father of the child.
Well, it was wrong of you to take his advice. You both put me through a lot of emotional stress.
But now everything is out in the open.
And I have you to thank for that, Helen.
What did you think of my experiments?
They were great. The experiments seemed so real. Huh? What do you mean by they seemed real?
Did you trick me into telling the truth?
Yes, that's right. We outsmarted you. How does it feel to be tricked like this?
Yes, I was totally bluffing. I just used the right substances to change the color of the liquid.
How dare you trick us like this? Well, to be fair, you tricked me first. You're making a big fool out of me.
So if Helen's experiments were fake, does this mean that there's still a chance that Alan is the father of my child?
Don't you ever give up? If you want, I can take a DNA paternity test to prove to you that I'm not your child's father.
You should. I still don't believe you.
The results of my DNA paternity test were out. See? I'm not related to your son in any way, so you can stop pestering me now. I'm going to use the test results to request a change to the family registry. Can't we get your ex-boyfriend to take a paternity test? We need to determine who the father is so that we can start to receive the child support payments.
If Aaron's not the father, I think we can assume that my ex-boyfriend is the father. I'll get in touch with him regarding child support. We both thought that Aaron was the father because my child looks nothing like my ex-boyfriend. We each have 2 different types of genes, and our children receive one of each type from their parents. And sometimes the child receives the recessive gene, which means that the child does not necessarily look like their parents.
You explained it so well, Helen. Then we need to convince your ex-boyfriend to resume the child support payments. If he refuses, we can ask him to take a paternity test.
I just realized that I don't have his phone number anymore.
Then who's going to pay for your son's living expenses?
I don't know, Aaron.
This is all your fault, Sarah. You created this mess and you need to fix it.
Don't try to blame this whole thing on me. It was your idea too. You wanted to take money from Alan just as much as me. This is both our responsibilities. Don't be so patronizing.
It looks like you two need to sort this out, so let us give you some privacy.
I hope that their relationship is strong enough to overcome this.
Actually, there is one more thing that we need to tell you before we go. What is it? I'm going to be suing Aaron for defaming me. I'll be seeing you in court. Please prepare to pay me for the emotional stress that you caused me. Why in the world would you sue me? I didn't do anything wrong. If you punch me, I'll be suing you for assault as well. Because of all the bad rumors that you spread about me at work, all of my colleagues began to avoid me, and I've been completely isolated. Can't believe that you're suing me. Just as I had hoped, I was able to remove my name as a father of Sarah's child. And so Sarah and Aaron could no longer request any money from me. As for Aaron, our colleagues found out the truth about him.
Aaron tried to trick Alan into paying him money by using his fiance's child. How could he do such a terrible thing?
That fraud.
In the end, though, Alan sued Aaron for defamation, and so Aaron was the one who was ordered to pay money to Alan. Because of their money troubles, Aaron and Sarah's marriage is off to a rocky start.
People at work didn't trust Aaron after he had lied about everything, and in the end, Aaron ended up quitting his job. Hey Aaron, today's your last day at this company, right? It was nice knowing you, and best of luck. I know that you don't mean any of that. You ruined my life. Don't forget to make those payments to me. I heard that after Aaron quit his job, he and Sarah were penniless. They had expected to receive child support payments from me, but things didn't go as planned for them. I guess they both need to go find themselves new jobs soon. Otherwise, they'll end up on the streets. Helen and I continued to be happily married, and we are both relieved to have Sarah and Aaron out of our lives. And after 3 years passed, we had a baby together, and we couldn't have been happier. Thank you for putting up with me all these years. I'm so grateful to have you in my life.
I love my life with you. Even if we encounter problems along the way, if we support each other, we can get through anything.
Because I had contracted a mumps several years ago, my doctor told me that it would be difficult for me to have children, but it seemed that I still have a slim chance of becoming a father. After years of fertility treatments, Helen and I were able to get pregnant. I'm so lucky to have been able to marry Helen. Trouble busters!